Hi, hey, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to look at some history pocket guns. Pocket guns that were from way back in the 1800s and, some famous pocket guns and some not so famous pocket guns and the more modern pocket guns that we use today. This is a Philadelphia Derringer. This is a kit gun made in Spain by a company called Ucar. And I bought this years and years ago as a kit, and you put these things together, and they were all pretty much all 45 caliber. And you could put a little black powder in there, stuff a ball in, put a cap on, and you can go outside and have a little fun with the thing. But you can see that they're kind of small. But if you look in this picture here, you can see what they looked like originally. And they're quite a bit smaller than this. And there's a picture here of the one that John Wilkes Booth used to shoot Lincoln, and you can see that they're quite a bit smaller than this. But this is kind of a representation of Henry Derringer's first Derringer, the Philadelphia Derringer. And it's kind of a cool gun, and I have shot it, and from a few feet away, it's very effective. The 45 caliber. The gun that I have next here is a pinfire revolver. These were made a little bit later. A guy by the name, if I can think of his name, it is Lafayette. I'm pretty sure. Something similar. I didn't want to butcher the name, but Lafayette, I think it is the guy that came up with these things. They were revolvers. And they were quite a bit smaller. You can see this is an original back from the 1840s and 50s perhaps. And, there were patents for drilled out cylinders, but they didn't pay any attention to any patents. And they made these by the thousands. Pinfire ammunition. Now this is a revolver, and it'll cock back. And you can see in the single action, you can pull the trigger down, and it'll go bang. And it'll also go bang in double action. Now, how these things were loaded is, you lifted the gate and you would put what they would call a pinfire round. And what a pinfire round is, you can see it in this illustration here. It's just basically like a rimfire, but it had a pin that extruded out of the top of it and went in these notches. And these notches that are in the cylinder here. And then the hammer just come down, hit the pin, which hit a percussion cap, and then it, set the black powder on fire and pushed the bullet down the barrel. And that's kind of what it was. And they were quite popular over in Europe, and I know they sold quite a few over in the States for quite a few years. But they were very concealable. You could hide them in a shirt pocket, in your pant pocket, and this one is in 7mm. It's not functioning, but it is an antique, revolver from around probably the 1850s to 1870s. So that is a pinfire revolver. And the next revolver we're going to show is the modern day revolver. Now, 1927. They had the Colt Patterson. It was kind of a revolver, but a true snub-nosed revolver come around 1927 with the Colt Detective. And you can see a picture of an original Colt Detective here. And there were some different calibers, but mainly the .38 Special, which at the time was a very powerful round, still is a very powerful round for detective use. Now, they held these in high regard back in the 1930s, and the detective police used them quite often, holstered them along in their hip, and they were quite effective for what they were needed for. And they're still produced by the bucket loads today. And there are a lot of people that have these kinds of revolvers. They're very easy to use. They're very easy to load. They're very dependable, and they work. And so that is, from 1927 back into the mid-1800s, back into the early 1800s. And that is the pocket pistols for the last several hundred years. Well, I appreciate you joining me, taking a look at history here and pocket pistols. And as always, that's my video this week. And I hope you guys have a great day and you're surviving the winter. And I will see you again next week. Take care.